Good late afternoon, everybody. I am Riker, and I am going to be giving all of you on Randomania a demo of the Super Metroid and Link to the Past combo randomizer. This will be for the Randomania Superweek 2020. Thanks to everybody for showing up. This has been around for quite some time. It takes two very old and very well-known randomizers, the one for A Link to the Past and the one for Super Metroid, and jams them together. So we're going to need to gather all of the necessary items to defeat both Ganon and Mother Brain. Ended up doing this last year, in last year's Randomania Marathon as well. Wound up getting a 2 hour and 50-minute time, which is pretty quick for these. Top players can usually complete seeds in 3 hours to 3 hours and 15 minutes. The settings we're going to be using this time is normal logic. There are two different logics for Super Metroid and A Link to the Past combo randomizer. The Link to the Past side is not affected, but the Super Metroid side, hard logic can require some advanced techniques and speedrunning tricks to be able to complete the seed. Whereas in normal logic, there are only 4 tricks that are expected. You can be expected to do infinite bomb jumping vertically. You can be expected to wall jump. You can be expected to mid-air morph, and you can be expected to do shine sparking. Anything beyond that is out of logic. This randomizer has been around since 2017, I want to say. We've had a couple of tournaments, all of which have gone really well. Our most recent tournament, hosted by Speed Gaming, had 96 players. We have a couple of weekly races as well. One on Sunday and one every Sunday and Monday that have alternating logics. So with that, we have a green light to get started. So I will go ahead and show you that I have one of the weirdest button setups for Super Metroid. This seed was just generated about a week ago, so I have no idea what's in this. No one has any idea what is in this, so hopefully the seed won't be too terrible and we'll be able to finish under estimate. So we'll go ahead and get this kicked off in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so for the combo randomizer, it'll start you out in Super Metroid. You might notice that we have this beautiful Mega Man X sprite. The most recent version of the randomizer, version 11, added some custom sprite support for both Link to the Past and Super Metroid. But as far as our strategy for completing both games, we're going to be heading into Link to the Past immediately, because on the Super Metroid side, there are only 2 items that are accessible, and only 1 is in logic. And that's half magic on the Lake Hylia ledge. That's something we're going to want to come back for if it's convenient. Now, those of you familiar with the Link to the Past randomizer might be wondering why I'm not checking the Sanctuary chest. The reason why I'm not checking the Sanctuary chest oh boy, that is potentially very interesting. All of the value crystals and pendants are in the light world. So the reason why I'm not checking the Sanctuary chest is because my strategy for the early game depends on going into the Crystal Hand Room. Now, for the Crystal Hand Room to work, this method where you jump off the ledge 4 times to offset Link's position on the screen, this is entirely dependent on you not having flippers. And that'll take us to the Crystal Hand Room. It's the error handling room for Link to the Past, where if the game does not know where to send you, it will send you here. And it's important in Randomizer because there's a nice one-time pickup of 225 rupees here, and that'll give you most of the money that you need for the beginning of the game. Now, the ammo counts and the heart piece and heart container counts might not stay current all the time. I'll try to keep those as updated as I can. But they don't really matter for the logic after a certain point. And Link to the Past health doesn't matter for the logic at all. Now, those of you who play the Link to the Past randomizer, the logic for the Link to the Past side is actually not based off the most current version. It is based off of version 30 of the Link to the Past randomizer. Just because the developer Total did not like some of the decisions that the Link to the Past community had made, so this project has been split off from the Link to the Past randomizer. We did not get a permanent weapon from Uncle, so now we're going to head back to Sanctuary and check this chest here, which has a pack of power bombs. Before you go into Super Metroid, generally speaking, you want to either have 2 packs of power bombs or regular bombs, as well as, of course, Morph Ball. So the reason why why that crystal layout is interesting for the Light World is both of the 5-6 crystals, as well as the green pendant, happen to be in the Light World. So that means we won't have any value dungeons in the Dark World. So we could see items in very interesting spots. Fairies from the tree pull, that is something we'll have to keep in mind. Just nickels from the bush crab. So the reason why I like to do the early Houlihan is because 1/3 of your money is going to wind up being in Super Metroid. What with the two item pools being crossed over between games. So 1/3 of your money is going to wind up in Super Metroid, and the vast majority of locations in Super Metroid are gated by Morph Ball, and who knows where that's going to wind up being. So this big 20 I am going to end up picking up. But this is one of the deepest randomizers that I've played, despite it being primarily just an item randomizer, just because of the layers and layers of routing strategy. It gets to the point where, after you play this enough, the standalone Link to the Past randomizer can almost feel limiting. Almost. I mean, all three projects are great. All 3 projects are great. This just happens to be my favorite of the 3. So we will see what we get from the bottle vendor. Hopefully some progression or some explosives. Unfortunately, just a heart piece. So because of that, we are going to need to go down to the bomb shop here to pick up some explosives. Lord Goober, to answer your questions, I have seen Morph Ball in both of those spots. As a matter of fact, I did a race recently. I think it was one of the weekly races where Morph Ball was on Golden Chorizo. One of my first seeds had Morph Ball on Laser Bridge also. So the Kakariko Village is one of the biggest priorities that you're going to have in the early game. Just because of volume. In the early game, you really want to prioritize volume. Because mostly you're just trying to figure out where that progression is. if you don't find early progression in Kakariko, then there's a set route you generally go for. But until you get to about that hour mark, until you get to roughly the hour mark, you're going to want to prioritize volume rather than chasing progression. Okay, good. I'm happy to see that, but I'm also a little bit disappointed that I won't be able to show off Suitless Lower Norfair, because if it comes down to it and Varia is in some place really silly, I am good enough at Suitless. I am good enough at Super Metroid to be able to do Lower Norfair Suitless, but that's not happening because we have early Varia Suit. Early Varia Suit can put some. It can put Morph Ball in interesting places in Norfair due to the presence of the game portal. Aw, darn, I didn't get the chicken all the way through the wall. As we do not have a bottle, this is going to Orphan Sit Kid, but Orphaning Sit Kid is very common with this route. We are picking up a handful of energy tanks as well, which is very nice. You usually want to go into Super Metroid your first time with a couple of energy tanks. And they're generally useful up until about 7, and that's a Wave Beam at the library. That is something we're going to want to come back for. But yes, that is one of the reasons why I really do not like seeing Morph Ball Bombs early, because Morph Ball Bombs early can mean... As soon as you find Morph Ball and early Morph Ball Bombs, then infinite bomb jumping is in play, and doing that under pressure can be surprisingly difficult. Just because the timing for it isn't particularly lenient. It's probably the most... It's one of the most difficult things that normal logic can require you to do. So at this point, because we don't have any hard progression, I'm going to be going down to just the densest places. There's also a case to be had for going to Eastern Palace and Saha's Closet. And the case for that is, I'm a big fan of early Zora. If I have a way to check the waterfall, I will hold off until we have 500 rupees coming down here. The biggest reason for that is because Zora tends to be put in logic very early. Now, the vast majority of... Thanks, Mini Moldorm Cave. The vast majority of the time, this is how you're going to be dealing with Mini Moldorm Cave's bombs, and cleaning out those enemies with just explosives can be rather irritating. Oh hey, Space Jump. Space Jump is actually... That's more Norfair pieces. So there's a big red flag. There's a big red flag about perhaps Morph Ball is in the Bubble Mountain area. Because we're a glove or a flute away from that being in logic. I would not be surprised to see a glove come up soon. But I tell you what, the community for this randomizer has really ballooned since the last tournament. We're getting regularly 20+ people for our normal logic races. It's absolutely ballooned, and I love it. Unfortunately, garbage in Ice Rod Cave, so our next destination is going to be Eastern Palace. There was also, since we had no hard progression, there was also a case for checking Agina after doing the dam. I think if you have no hard progression coming out of Kakariko, then that is something that you need to consider, is just getting the Agina check out of the way early. But if you do have one piece of hard progression, then it's better just to leave it for later. So we will see what we have in Saha's closet. Don't need to talk to him because we know where the green pendant is. It is a Terra. Garbage! So I think the play from here, because we have that space jump, now our Morph Ball can actually be in the ceiling. The Blueprint Star ceiling item is now in logic because of our space jump. There is a way to obtain that without, but it involves doing a damage boost, which is something that normal logic cannot expect. But it's still a good technique to know. So let's make our way into Eastern. I'm a big fan of checking Crystal Eastern early, just because it's a Sphere Zero location. I'm an even bigger fan of rushing Pendant Eastern. Just because with Eastern being a pendant, as long as you're comfortable with navigating the Dark Room, then you'll only leave at most one item in here, and that's bow-locked. And there's not an unreasonable chance... that there's just something in here early. And I want to say it's usually about a 1 in 3 chance that there's... Oh, hey, a sword. That will be very helpful. There's a 1 in 3 chance, roughly, that there's going to be a dungeon item on the boss. And then if Eastern Palace is a pendant and the last item is on the boss, then you never have to come back there. Pretty nice to see a sword this early, though. This is one of those randomizers where, because of the added items, you can go for a really, really long time without a sword. If Desert Palace is a crystal, you could wait for Agina until you have desert access, but because Agina is a Sphere Zero location, that can be risky. So if I've done my counting correctly, it should be a 50% chance that we have an item on the boss now. I'm actually starting to get suspicious of progression being at the Brinstar ceiling item, just because of how early we saw Space Jump. But races of these are very, very exciting to watch. Oh, I should actually grab those bombs. I didn't even realize at first that we got an 8 bomb drop. That'll actually save us 50 rupees, because I was probably going to have to buy bombs at some point if I didn't get a drop soon. The back of Escape is also getting really, really suspicious. Oh, Morph Ball! That's great! Alright, so Morph Ball does open up a ton of stuff, but we only have 1 pack of Power Bombs right now. So I am going to head over to the castle and clear out the castle because it's in logic, and I'm also fishing for a 2nd pack of Power Bombs. I was definitely not expecting to find Morph Ball there, of all places. But the reason why I'm going to probably end up doing all the Zelda stuff, I can, except for Agina. Which, unfortunately, is going to wind up being just the castle. But we have lots and lots of access in Metroid now. The only caveat is just the 5 Power Bombs and no Morph Ball bombs makes exploration of Super Metroid early very, very, very awkward. And there's our first garbage can. Yeah, we're pretty comfy for exploring the early part of Super Metroid, considering we have 3, now 4 energy tanks. It's just that second Power Bomb pack. This Power Bomb management early in Super Metroid is a huge skill, very, very important. Oh, that makes me look like such an idiot. I just got out of Eastern Palace, and the very next thing I found was the bow. Well, that depends. It depends on how early Desert pops up. If I get access to Desert early... I don't know why I did that, that was really dumb of me. I shouldn't have killed that guard because I needed the death word. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. I'll just walk back and do the rest. If you kill the guard by mistake, it's faster to just clear the rest of the castle. The thing I'm scared of is a glove showing up. There aren't any more items in Eastern Palace, though. We got all 3 items. No, we got all 3 items, so unless there's something, unless we have a reason to believe that there is progression at Pyramid Fairy, we can put off Eastern Palace until basically we're in go mode. Actually, Death Mountain is already open. There are other reasons, though, I'm starting to get suspicious of a glove showing up soon. But for right now, we have access to Death Mountain through Brinstar and Norfair with that Morph Ball. That's a pretty good find, too. I am very okay with Charge Beam. So now that we have everything we can out of there, I'm going to head back to Super Metroid. Unfortunately, we only have 5 Power Bombs. So it's going to be very limited what we can do. So the plan is going to be... to do the Bryn loop into Norfair, and then if we find nothing, and then if we don't find anything that puts us back into Zelda, go up Red Tower direction. I just really want to find another pack of Power Bombs before I commit to full clearing as much as I can in Metroid. Oh boy, that's not what I want to see. Once you've already seen Access Direct Ship, you really don't want to see Grapple Beam, because that puts Shack Tool into play. But we don't have to worry about Shack Tool until we find Gravity Suit. It's just a little bit suspect that it's showing up this early. Shack Tool is probably going to get checked if we find Gravity early. Unfortunately, yes, you did hear Shack Tool. Those aren't the kind of bombs I want, game. So now what we can do here is a little trick called Alcatraz Escape to save a power bomb. I think I'm gonna go ahead and check 230 and only 230 down here. And then maybe after the Brinstar loop, we might be able to finagle coming back up here. It'll require a gate glitch to properly route. Find a lot of energy tanks early, so dying in SM shouldn't be an issue. Oh yeah, did I mention that movement is impossible in this game? And by movement is impossible in this game, I mean it's really hard to do correctly. Yeah, I really would like more power bombs right now. Back gauntlets, just a couple supers. We'll keep that in mind, but it's probably not going to wind up being too pertinent just because we have charge beam. But those supers are definitely something I'm going to want to keep in mind. So now we're going to be heading down to the Brinstar loop. For those of you trying to improve your times in SMZ3, this is the most important sequence break in the game. I recommend you learn it. That's the mock ball. If you morph and then hold forward just as you hit the ground, you'll be able to maintain your full running speed while on a morph ball, and you can use it to get through those falling gates. Which normally require Speed Booster to pass, and we were actually able to get a hammer out of logic because of that. So I'm pretty happy with that find. That'll help navigate Link to the Past. I didn't shoot my Super Missile soon enough. I like to open that door while I'm waiting for the power bomb to go off, but if you're slow, then the Super Missile and the power bomb will go off at the same time, and you'll generate quite a bit of lag. Given how early we had seen the red crystals, I was starting to get a little bit worried about a hammer at Pyramid Fairy type situation. But now that we know where the hammer is, navigating Dark World with that hammer won't be an issue at all. I'll take Poor Man's Plasma. That's another mock ball there. After the power bombs, or the Edikun power bomb spot. That's not as important to learn, but it's a nice time saver, because if you just go from... I jumped too early. If you just use Samus's regular speed from the Morph Ball, you won't actually make that ledge. Really like to see some power bombs. There's a power bomb pack. Alright, we should be okay-ish now. I wouldn't mind seeing one more, but we should be fine now. So this room called Mission Impossible has those dangerous side hoppers, and I actually almost got it, too. The reason why it's called Mission Impossible is because it is actually possible to grab that item and then jump back up to avoid spending... I think it saves a Super Missile. So there's a couple more tricks we're going to go for here. This one is called Spore Spawn Skip. By positioning Samus at the correct position, you can shoot a Super Missile block from off-screen and be able to skip about a 2.5 minute mini-boss fight. It's another trick that's very important to learn, but unlike ones that open up items, that's just strictly a time saver. You might also be wondering why I'm grabbing the money, even though it's low amounts. It's because of Zora. I'm getting a little bit worried about King Zora having something. Now this could get fun, because I don't have a lot of ammo. Won't have too many tries at this. Got it. Okay. Cool. So what I did there was a form of green gate glitch where you shoot a super missile past this gate, where it gets moving fast enough that it clips through the gate and hits the button on the other side. That location logically requires wave beam to get to. Oh, gravity! That's convenient. Well, now I'm starting to get scared of something like Moon Pearl at Shack Tool. That's a big fat whelp if I've ever seen one. Ruh-roh Raggy is right. I don't mind seeing the suits this early, but this could be indicative of an early bird. You know what's actually really scary? What's really scary is Ridley is in Logic right now. I can be expected to go to Ridley. We can get basically everywhere in Super Metroid right now. I tell you what, though, I'm not going down there. Not with this ammo situation. If I find Plasma Beam, then I think I might head down there, but still. The fact that it's in Logic about a half hour in is really scary. Now, this is definitely one of the more interesting open seeds I've played in a while. The fact that you can get basically I actually think you can get everywhere in Super Metroid at this point, except Dragon. Yeah, you can get everywhere except Dragon with this loadout. And that'll open up once we find Ice or Speed or can access Meridia Portal. One of those three. So I think because of this Ridley situation, I'm gonna change course and put Norfair off for now, and actually head up through West Meridia and Wreck Ship. Mostly just to dig for ammo. I'll take that too. That's one less thing I have to worry about when I go back to Zelda. But given that we found both suits, we're gonna be in Super Metroid a while. Like, we're gonna be in Super Metroid a really while. Like, a really while. But yes, you are right. That Master Sword does open up the possibility of Aga Moon Pearl. A shovel. That's a shovel on Crab Supers. Okay, fine. I'll go this way. Thankfully, there was nothing that was speed locked. The other concern right now with my loadout is I don't have speed. And there are several items in the Meridia and Wreck Ship area that require Speed Booster to get. So this could potentially wind up backfiring really badly. But yeah, Moon Pearl on Pyramid with our current loadout is entirely possible. And I'm gonna grab as much ammo as I can right now. Just because of the Ridley situation. Well, we can't really see what the other pendants are. But since we have pretty much the entire loadout to complete Super Metroid, it'll be a little bit easier for Ped. If there was like speed booster Ped that was required, that would just be twisted. But in any case, let's go ahead and go up to the beach and to Watering Hole. There's 3 items up here we can grab. I'll take that. I will absolutely take Soggy Blue Mail. Alright, no Spring Ball. Ouch! So those Spike Crests that we in the Super Metroid community, we say ouch. Well, just Metroid in general. Whenever we touch those Spike Crustacean enemies and take damage from them, we say ouch, because that's their name. They're called ouch. There's our Zora Cache. I actually think at this point that might be all of the cache we need. So all we have left are sand pits. Oh, we can get to Shack Tool, actually, with that space jump. Have you ever seen a Shack Tool this fast? I don't think I have ever seen a Shack Tool check in Combo Randomizer this early. Because this is what, a half hour in? Yeah, we are a half hour in and we're already looking at checking Shack Tool. So I'm not familiar with how to do the snail clip, so I can only check well, good thing I looked, so we are going to need to get that speed booster and then come back here. So we have a speed booster locked hook shot, so we're going to need to come back here at some point. Which is a little annoying, but I can make it work. Just gotta find that speed booster. What have we? A missile pack, and nothing. So left sand pit's trash. So I think our route is going to be, after we check right Sandpit and Shack Tool, we go up Red Tower direct ship, go around the Gauntlet and grab those super missiles, and then head to Lower Norfair. Those 320 rupees in the right Sandpit can stay. Oh, if you have them, get your Shack Tool emotes ready. If this Shack Tool check doesn't make the highlight reel, I don't know what will, because this is ridiculously early for checking Shack Tool. If he actually has something, I wouldn't be surprised, just because of how early all the components have shown up. Alright, here we go. Get your Shack Tool emotes out there. I almost dropped that power bomb too late, too. And now we wait for Shack Tool to do his thing. I am so good at this game. Oh my. Wow, I can't believe that actually was there. That's insane. I am very confident that if this were a race, I would be way ahead right now. Like, I would be very, very far ahead. Because who would check Shack Tool at 35 minutes? Well, I guess the seed's wide open now. Well, I guess not as much as you would think, because we still can't do much in Dark World. But once we find a glove, well, we have Dark World access through Aga, but it's not a ton of access is the issue. So we're gonna do a little bit of change of plans here with our routing. Since we're out of ammo, I'm actually just gonna head to my ship. Just because ammo is a serious concern, and I'm gonna want to pick up the 2 super missile packs that are at the end of Gauntlet. Plus, there's the item that's in the front of Gauntlet that has not been checked either. But this is a very, very silly seed already. Apparently chat wants first glove in Dark World. Can we not, please? Although I wouldn't mind it if Flippers come up, if Flippers and Dragon Access come up, because I actually like the seeds where your first Dark World access is through Meridia. I think that's really cool. But we're a ways from that. We would need Flippers and either Ice or Speed to show up. Well, logically, we would need Speed. Alright, nothing there. Nothing there. Alright, back to SM we go. So because we don't have good equipment for Attic yet, I think I'm actually gonna route this a little bit differently. I'm gonna get the Gauntlet Supers now. I'm gonna get the Gauntlet Supers now, go to Construction Zone, and then go to Wreck Ship, and then after Wreck Ship I can just transition back to Link to the Past and go to Death Mountain. I think that's the most efficient way to go about this. If it's not the most efficient, considering the ammo situation, it's up there. It can't be a bad route. That's actually where I'm headed, is Gauntlet to Blue Bryn to Wreck Ship. This also lets me take a peek at what is at Great Area Shaft, because there's not really another good chance for me to check that. But the biggest motivation for coming here was definitely the super missiles. Now, where am I going to get power bombs at? I think I'm going to have to just refill at my ship. Again. Just because to do all of the checks in... Just because to do all of the checks in the construction zone with the loadout that I have right now, you need all of the power bombs. You need all 10 power bombs to do that. And actually, because of the power bomb situation, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to check Criteria Shaft like this. Yeah, Gauntlet to Blueprint to wreck ship to Ridley, and hopefully we find a glove. Yeah, it's gonna have to be done this way. So I don't see a way now with the powerbomb situation. I don't see a way that we can't just not orphan this location. But this isn't a big deal. It takes maybe 45 seconds to check. Just because it's so close to a transition point. The orphaning criteria supers isn't as big a deal as people make it out to be. And it's still annoying that I'm gonna have to orphan this. But I just can't see a way to check it efficiently with the powerbomb situation. If I had another pack of power bombs, 15 capacity, I would absolutely go check it right now. Since we're going to be doing it this way, I'll grab that on the way out. We're pretty healthy in Zelda, at least. This has been a pretty healthy seed overall. It's just, I get the feeling that if this were a race, your position in the race would entirely come down to when did you go to Shack Tool to get Moon Roll. Alright, so we'll see what our good friend Billy Mays has to say. He says, if you order your tempered sword within the next 10 minutes, we'll throw in this bottle absolutely free. That's a pretty good Billy Mays prize, I'll take that. So I'll just go grab that shield, see what's in construction zone, then head over to wreck ship. I'm still not comfortable going down to Ridley with this loadout. I think one thing that people really underestimate the value of in Link to the Past Rando is the value of the first couple of capacity upgrades, especially bomb capacity, because bomb capacity is set at 10 when you first start. That's another change with version 11, is that the bomb climb is impossible, by the way. The bomb capacity upgrades have been reduced for the combo randomizer. Instead of there being 40 of each available, there's only 20. The plus 10 and 2 of the plus 5s were removed. Unfortunately, I'm going to need to stop at my ship again because of the power bomb problems. And then I'm going to go down to Norfair and find a whole bunch of power bombs, and the seed will be like, I told you so. I wouldn't mind another beam, either. Like, plasma would be great. I know we're not going to have wave anytime soon. So normally I would check this after wreck ship, but because I've already checked X-ray, I'm going to be checking these first to look for a bailout pack of power bombs or a beam. Something that makes wreck ship easier. Maybe we'll even find speed booster. Because I'm a little bit nervous about going into wreck ship without speed booster just because of the wreck ship E-tank. Or wreck ship reserve, sorry. I know what I'm talking about, I swear. I've only been part of the community since version 9. Don't get vile plumed. Nope, nothing but muns. So we'll go ahead and head up to kill everybody's favorite Super Metroid boss. I thought this was supposed to be Super Metroid and a Link to the Past combo randomizer, not Super Metroid and then a Link to the Past randomizer. But that's what the seed clearly wants me to do, is go clear Super Metroid and then go clear Link to the Past, not go back and forth. I'll take that. Because I don't know about you, but I don't like the big ice rod hunts. Pretty much ever. I didn't see what medallion that was in the maze, but it was a medallion of some kind. Oh, more supers. Cool. I actually think one more really, of course it would respawn right before I go through. I'm actually comfortable going to Ridley if I can find one more pack of supers. Yeah, ice rod hunts are awful. Oh, hey, look. Hey, look, remember what I was saying about Dark World access through Meridia? We're ice or speed. We're a speed booster away from that now. Alright, Fanny, let's go. With Gravity Suit and 4 energy tanks, this won't be bad at all. So I fight Phantoon a little bit differently than Super Metroid runners do. If you're not as adept at the Doppler strategy as Super Metroid runners are, there's this really nice way that you can get a 3-cycle every time. wait for him to come back. And then I just run at him, fire missiles like you're going to Doppler him, and then end in a super. This will trigger a rage phase. Oh, I have Charge Beam. I don't even care about his rage phase at all. Because you can pseudo-screw through the flames. If you have Charge Beam... If you have Charge Beam and you hold a charge while spin jumping, you'll get a one-time screw attack. So we'll do the same thing here. That was actually a pretty good Doppler. Like, we got... This should easily be 3. If you don't Doppler him at all, the missile, super, then 5 missiles, and then missile, super again. You'll need to do that exactly that way. Just 4 missiles and then a super, 5 missiles, and then 4 missiles and a super to defeat Phantoon. And it's exactly enough damage, because Phantoon has 2500 HP. So, oh, I need to grab this Power Bomb. So what triggers Phantoon's Rage Phase is not taking a certain amount of damage too quickly. It's specifically super missiles that trigger that. So if you have something like Charge Plasma, you can destroy Phantoon pretty quickly with it. Get out of my way. And there's our Arrow of Destiny. That can stay right there. Yep, that is the only single arrow in the item pool. Yeah, we're good on money for now, thanks to that 300. So now the next check we have is a Spiky Room of Death. This is probably the scariest room in the game in Vanilla 100%. And if you come in here under-equipped, it can be extremely dangerous, but with our loadout, it's going to be really easy. The only reason I'm even doing a save here is because it's faster to reset out of this room if there's nothing there. So those spike platforms, if you have no armor at all, and you get crushed by one of those spike platforms, it does 2 E-tanks of damage. I've seen many, many people get killed in that room. Alright, Wreckship E-tank, what do you have? An E-tank! That is nothing I care about. So now we're coming up to the reason why I grabbed all those super missiles before coming here is Attic. Attic is a room. Attic is one of the hardest rooms in the entire game to optimize. And the strategy for clearing it is going to vary depending on what items you have. That room is one of the most useful places to have Screw Attack. Having Screw Attack for Attic makes it very easy. If you have Plasma, that can help a lot as well. Okay, that's nothing I care for. And you can't sleep on these enemies either. The Key Hunters in this room, if you have no suit, they do 60 damage. So now with some... with use of one power bomb and some tight metamorphs, we're going to be able to check what is behind Speed Booster in Wreck Ship, and it is a pack of power bombs. As much as I would like those are unfortunately Speed Booster locked, and we will not be coming back here for them. So that'll make it a little bit less likely for us to actually find power bombs. I said power bombs, not Link to the Past bombs, game. Oops. Okay, there's our ether. Alright, time to go bowling. Oh, I would have missed the timing for Bowling Spark anyway, even if I had speed. So the biggest monkey wrench right now is that Speed Booster locked hookshot. I'm kind of hoping a mirror shows up soon. Because if a mirror shows up, then we can get to East Death Mountain. And we know that, and I also suspect that the Speed Booster is very likely to be somewhere in Norfair, because you might remember that we found Hammer. Oh, two medallions in Wreck Ship, so that wasn't bad at all. So the big reason why I'm thinking that Speed Booster is in Norfair, because in addition to locking Hookshot, it is also locking Hammer, so the Speed Booster cannot be in East Death Mountain. If a mirror shows up, it is possible for Speed Booster to be in Hera. But I think the most likely place for it to be at this point would be somewhere in Norfair. And we have access to all of Norfair at this point, except for Croc area. Croc area and Ice Beam area. We can get there, but it's not in Logic, so we're not going to find a Speed Booster there. Well, if we do find a Speed Booster, then that means that... If we find a Speed Booster there, then that means that Pegasus Boots are out there. Like, Pegasus Boots have to be out there, because the only other way that that's going to be in Logic is if we find Wave Beam. I'm actually going to go check the dig spot before I save it. I'm going to go check dig spot and, dig spot and sit kid before I save quit. You can't go that way, Raiko. You don't have a glove. Since I'm going to be saving and quitting the Death Mountain anyway, I may as well do a couple of checks back here while I'm in the area. Since I don't really foresee myself going back to this part of Zelda until I have Dark World access. And I also can't really see myself going over here to check the dig spot without a mirror, too. So after this check, I'll go back up to Death Mountain and then save and quit. Where are these gloves at? Of course he has nothing. So unfortunately, because we don't have... excuse me. I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and knock out Kraid now. Because we don't have a way to get to Mire, I'm also starting to get a little bit worried about a glove being in... Or, well, we can get to Mire, we just have to get there through Lore Norfair, and that's a trip. So I'm gonna try to just dig for a glove as much as I can. But that speed booster has to show up soon. It just has to. So the question is, will we take Kraid to prom? With the charge beam, I would hope not. Because if you have charge beam, you can lock Kraid's claw in place, and then the timing is pretty easy. It's the difficulty of doing it without charge beam mostly has to do with just getting the first super missile over his claw. Got him. We did not take Kraid to prom. Speed booster. Okay. Change of plans. Change of plans. So with that hook shot, so now that we have access to, so now that I have access to this, since it's likely I'm gonna be doing a save and quit out of Norfair. I'm actually gonna go grab this hook shot now. Whatever. I still don't have a ton of ammo. And having backups for Ridley is going to be nice. Since it's not guaranteed we're going to get another super missile. Especially since I'm going to want to go to Lore Norfair first. Alright, so that actually puts everything back in logic. But because I don't see... No, actually no, because we're going to have Dark World access this way. I think actually getting this hookshot now is a mistake. It's going to be really awkward if Red Cane shows up, though. I thought about it, and in addition to us getting the hookshot, that is also our ticket to Dragon, is the speed booster. So that's also gonna change how I route this. I'm gonna scout back of Croc to... Of course. Of course. That's... Oh my god. Wow. What do I do? Oh, nice vanilla high jump boots. Of course this place is loaded. Wow. So, now that I have Kena Samaria... Wow. Okay, I think that changes things. Remember when I said that I was gonna try to save the whole hookshot thing for after Lore Norfair? Well, now because with that Kena Samaria, if we have the correct medallion, we'll be able to get in the Mire. So I'm actually gonna go get the hookshot and only the hookshot. This is gonna seem weird, and don't get me wrong, this is pretty far out of the way, but I don't really see a way to get back here easily. And I think the only way this will mess me up is if there's, like, titans behind Batwoon or something. Because don't get me wrong, this is a trip. But I think we have to get this hookshot now just because it's our way into Mire. And this is why you scout stuff. So with the flippers, we can now get into Dark World through... Or we can get into the back of Meridia through Dark World. So that's why I'm not concerned about killing Dragon right now. The entire reason why I'm going out of my way to grab this hookshot now is because of Mire. This will blow up in my face if Mire is Bombos. But given that it's a 2 in 3 chance that we can get into Mire, and if we can get into Mire, we can full clear it. So regardless of whether Mire is a crystal or pendant, I'm gonna go ahead and just get it out of the way. Just because of the opportunity cost. There's a huge opportunity cost. But before I commit whether I want to go to Croc, I am going to check the back of Croc to see if it's anything. It's a super missile pack. I think that alone is going to be worth it if we do not find another super missile pack in the Croc area. I'm also not used to having high jump. So my nickname for SMZ3 is High Jump Appreciation Simulator. If you play enough of these, you will understand why I like to call it High Jump Appreciation Simulator. Because you will not realize how much you miss high jump until you don't have it for an entire seed. And believe me, I have played plenty of these where I have never found high jump. Yeah, playing without high jump, period, is just not fun. That's potion money, that's fine. That's absolutely worth a few seconds to go get that. So we'll do Croc. We'll do Croc and then go to Lore Norfair. I'm actually going to use my regular missiles here instead of supers. Because I'm going to have to use a ton of supers when I'm in Lore Norfair unless I luck into Plasma Beam. Wow, Crocomire was really nice. That's not a required item. And given that I've cleared out all of West Meridia already, when am I gonna go back? Just when do you go back? When do you go back for Croc? I don't think there's a good time period to go back to Croc. Don't need that. That's just a garbage can. I have grapple beam, so farming Ridley is going to be faster, and I'm probably going to have... And regardless, I'm going to have to do a farm anyway, just because my way to kill the gold pirates is super missiles, and they take 3 super missiles apiece. So why bother filling up here when I can just do it there? Trash. The power bombs are also a big concern because 2 packs of power bombs is the minimum that you need to complete Lore Warfare. If you don't have regular bombs or spring ball. If you have spring ball, I think you can get away with 1 pack, as long as you make sure you farm where you can. Trash. So unfortunately, betting on Croc was wrong, but I still think it's objectively correct to clear out Croc here, given the clearing I've already done. There is that super missile pack in the back of Croc I'm gonna grab real quick, though. I fired my shot too early. Shooting that door cap out is a lot easier if you have wave beam. You can also get more supers here. I should also save at the Lore Warfare elevator to check GT, especially considering that I have space jump, so the Showcase Showdown missile is actually going to be in logic. But with 5 E-tanks and gravity, Ridley should not be an issue. I'm comfortable going down to do Ridley on 3. Assuming sufficient ammo. Do need to grab these power bombs though, because power bombs are still a huge concern right now. I could very easily soft lock if I'm not careful. Nothing fancy this time, just the vanilla way to enter Ridley's lair. I am going to take a save at this elevator, though, for purposes of checking... Golden Chorizo. This does mean I will have to do the green gate glitch twice, though. I think given the precarious access to Mire, though, I think I have to finish that dungeon regardless of whether it's a pendant or a crystal. Alright. Alright, Green Gate Glitch, can you be nice for a change? Thank you. That wasn't too bad. That was 4th, I think. So that's similar to the one that we did on the one that we did for Wavegate. I guess we're killing Golden Chorizo. Because that's a Titan's Mitt. Well, no, I could just grab the Titan's Mitts again, if this is nothing. Is that faster, though? Why am I ducking? I don't have plasma. With only charge and Spazer, this will take a while. Maybe resetting was faster. I need to actually sit down and sit down and make a table of which beam combinations it's worth resetting and which ones it's not. Like, if the screw attack item is progression, but the stuff on GT is junk. I actually think that a reset might have been faster, but I'm committed at this point. So with Golden Chorizo, there's a safe spot that you can just stand in and just shoot straight up. But this method relies on you. It relies on you having 30 or less current missiles, because otherwise Golden Chorizo will do other attacks. But yeah, with the Titan's Bits, Egg is super dead. Because those Titan's Bits give us full Dark World access. Yeah, resetting would definitely have been faster. But I also don't mind picking up the power bomb drops from Gold Chorizo either. There we go. And we filled up all our ammo nicely too, but I'll take Titans. So that gets a lot of my fears out of the way. I mean, there's still potential problems like that, of course. Can McKee be under the mat, please, and make me not look like an idiot for doing this play? Of course, when I have two medallions, and I need the other one to get into fire, of course. I still don't think the play is wrong, though. Just having this intelligence is important. This play would be better if I had Mirror, but just getting the... Oh, I can check the dungeons, too. And Meyer is a crystal. So our pendants are TR, so lovely. That means that Ice Rod could go into play. And Skullwoods. So now the question is, once I get this Dark World access... Once I get Fire Rod and this Dark World access, can I stay out of Pendant TR? I think it'll be pretty tough to stay out of TR if this Fire Rod shows up. Actually, with Skullwoods and Turtle Rock being pendants, Fire Rod could be in GT, so we just have to hope that Fire Rod never shows up. Oh, I could have Shine Spark through these pillars, too. Oh yeah, we do need Bombos for Ice Palace, you're correct. Well, we need Bombos anyway. We need Bombos anyway, because Meyer is a crystal. Because the other pendant is Hera. Can I have another pack of power bombs, please? I'm gonna have to do some farming. Definitely gonna have to do a post-Ridley farm for power bombs. But I think I have enough to get down there. I'll save beforehand just in case, because it's been a while since I've saved. In a race situation, I would not save here. Because I want to say I have enough power bombs. Well, for Bombos on pedestal, then Fire Rod has to be available, but yeah. What do we even need for Go? I think it's Mirror. Is it just Mirror? Mirror and Bombos, I think. It might be just Bombos and Mirror. Yeah, it looks like we have exactly enough power bombs. We need more to get back though, so I'm gonna have to farm. I'm gonna have to farm off of the enemies both before and after Ridley to get the power bombs. I'm gonna need to get out of here. Because depending on how quickly these show up, this could wind up being a really, really fast seed. Okay, so this is the preferred method for farming. It's Grapple Beam. The health is not what I'm concerned about, it's the supers. I want to make sure I have absolutely full supers before I go through that. Well, not absolutely full, but 34 or 35 supers, because I'm going to use a super on the eye door. Alright. So those are full. Yeah, I'm gonna have to farm a couple extra power bombs after Ridley. But this Ridley fight should be easy. I have backup missiles, too. Got 5 on the opening, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15... Ridley should be dead now. Come here! Cool. That was a pretty good fight, all things considered. And that's also the big reason why I don't like going to Ridley with less than 35 super missiles, is because if you miss one, it can get bad. $50 on Ridley. Don't need the money for anything. But high jump boots make a huge difference in that fight. It makes it so much easier to dodge. I think I'm also gonna farm up a few supers as well. Wait, why'd I leave? I have full power bombs. Yeah, I think I'm gonna farm a few supers. Not too many though. Because I do need a few supers before before going to, yeah, that should be enough. So after Ridley and Bubble Mountain, I think we just start clearing out Dark World. Death Mountain East actually sounds like a really good idea. If Turtle Rock were a crystal, I would wait until Fire Rod, but I think Death Mountain East is probably a good idea. And this is why you need 2 Power Bomb packs to get out of here, is because of that bomb jump. I'm gonna save, though, because I'm a little bit worried about my health. So, does anybody remember from the first SMZ3 tournament where I save locked myself down here? When I had top 8 on the line? Because that was a thing that happened in one of the tournaments. Alright, so ammo isn't too relevant anymore. I mean, it could be relevant. I will pick up some power bombs, though, come to think of it. I can get power bombs from other enemies around here, too. Especially once I actually leave Lower Norfair, there's a ton of enemies that drop power bombs. Knowing what enemies drop what ammo types is super important. Like these dragons. These dragons will drop power bombs if you need them. So there's just one more item here. If I had more health, I would just dive right through this acid, but not when I'm this low on energy. Alright, what's at Franker Z? Nothing. I just want to get one of these guys out of the way. Please get out of my way, thank you. Yeah, I need to just learn damage tables too, because I wouldn't have done that otherwise. Because that was what, 80 shots, I think. Missed the mock ball. That's okay though. We have a whole bunch of stuff to do back here. Oh, plasma. That sure would have been nice earlier. But now I do not have to worry about ammo at all. Because we have charged plasma. But that plasma beam sure would have been nice to have for the pirates earlier. And the pirates and the key hunters especially. And for Golden Chorizo too. But I still think it was better to do Lower Norfair first. Just from a routing efficiency perspective. Because if you're comfortable if you're comfortable with bosses, then just doing Lower Norfair before Upper Norfair when possible saves a ton of time. Trash. And trash. So there's 5 more things up here, I think. There's these 3 items, there's Bubble Mountain, and a Cathedral. When am I gonna get back to Waterway, though? That's the other thing. Oh boy! Oh boy, that's something I really didn't want to see. Well, so that's Fire Rod. So now TR is in play. That's pretty bad. I mean, it could be a required item because, well, now Bombos can be an Ice Palace. And we have to finish Ice Palace anyway. And since I have the Glitch Cane, I can show off all the new Samaria tech too. Icebreaker is so cool if you haven't seen it. So that's pretty much a clear of Super Metroid. We're not going to be back here for a long time. We have Tempered Sword. Yes! Wait, why am I going this way? I don't have a mirror. That's gonna be a thing though. I don't think I can stay out of TR. I don't know about you, but I think the seed is screaming Turtle Rock. But there's too many items back here that I think you just have to check this. But yeah, you'll get to see Diver Down also. Although I've been having trouble with Diver Down recently. There's also another thing that could be an issue too. Boots. We don't have those yet either. And Desert's a crystal. So I would not mind Pegasus Boots showing up either. And even if Desert doesn't require them, there's always that 1 in 22 chance. Oh, there we go. There's Bombos. Alright, so now we're potentially Mirror Go. So I think now we almost have to check TR. So this means we will see a Go Mode Swamp Palace. Which is a little bit of a shame, because I actually like Swamp Palace. I think Swamp Palace is not as bad as people make it out to be. Oh. I actually misrouted this. I need to do Spiral Cave. But since we're only mirror from Go, I'm not even gonna worry about Hera. If we didn't find that Bombos medallion, then I would go clear Hera. But I think at this point, given how much we have open, I think we just gamble that Hera is nothing. And we know Mimic Cave is a dud. Well, no. Mimic Cave is not necessarily a dud. It could be something like... It could be something like required boots there, but that's the worst case scenario, is if there are required boots in Mimic Cave. And that's a scenario that's too far-fetched for even me to believe. So I think we're just going to ignore Mimic Cave. Because we know the mirror can't be there. And then I think as soon as we find the mirror, we just have to go check Desert. Yeah, I checked Spiral Cave, it was nothing. I see a Kiki. And it's a Quack. Oh, I don't have enough magic! I don't have enough magic to use Quake. Alright, so I'm gonna just clear out this stuff. There's full magic here, but I still think I have to go to TR. I don't see a way I can avoid TR at this point. There's just too many items there. Oh, never mind! Never mind! Well then. We are in Schrodinger's Go mode. So, I think what I'm gonna do... No, I'm gonna check Desert first. Yeah, this is Schrodinger's Go mode. I probably should have checked Hookshot Cave. But yeah, this is Schrodinger's Go mode. You're right. If I don't have boots by then, I'll check it when I go to... Oh wait, that's gonna be an issue. I mostly just want to get intelligence on whether I need boots or not. So I'm just gonna do this right now. And I think, given my super missile count, I think I'm just gonna go the regular way through to Meyer, because I only have 5 supers and I don't want to mess up the gate glitch, because there's no real way I can farm supers here. But yeah, Hookshot Cave absolutely should have been checked, and I'm gonna look like a huge fool if Pegasus Boots wind up being in there. Is this reminding anybody of the first GDQ seed? Where Oates and Andy spent like an hour looking for the Pegasus boots that they needed for Ganon's Tower? Because this is that exact situation. We're in like super early Schrodinger's Go mode. I want to say there's roughly a 50% chance that we're in Go mode. Because Desert being boots locked is roughly 50-50. And if we wind up being if it does wind up that we don't need the boots to beat the seed, I want to apologize to Randomania staff again, because yeah. This would wind up being the second year in a row where the SMZ3 run winds up being significantly underestimate. Normally I would go clear Mire before going to Desert, but I want the Desert Intelligence first. So this way, if I don't need boots for Desert, then I can just do the Mire stuff like I normally would. Like, I can just go mode Mire. But if not, then I'm gonna have to look for the Pegasus boots. And this could wind up being really awkward if Flute ends up being in GT. Like, underestimate's not a problem. Significantly underestimate is. Of course. Yep, we need the Pegasus boots. I really hope this Flute shows up. That's annoying. Well, we need the boots. Well, this means that why am I going in here? So now this means that our Pegasus boots can be in Swamp Palace. We need this medallion. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clear Mire now. Yeah, so now this won't wind up being stupidly underestimate. Probably. So the play from here is going to be to just rush crystals. Just rush crystals and hope the Pegasus boots are in my way. And then after rushing crystals, I think we just focus on volume. And this is why I'm not allowed to roll seeds. I've asked several times in just impromptu races if I can roll the seed, and everybody in IRC is like, no. Because for whatever reason, I just wind up rolling the stupidest garbage. Like Moon Pearl on Shack Tool. I can't believe I found that in a half hour. It didn't actually wind up making that big a difference in the long haul, I don't think, just because of how obtuse some of the locations for the rest of the Dark World Access concoction were. Because Dark World Access was kind of complicated in this seed, just because of where the gloves were at. So given that we haven't had any items show up, I think I'm actually going to just check the left side. I don't check the left side of Mire if one of the items shows up early. So this will be one of those cases where I actually leave the cutscene chest. If there is one item outstanding, I will check the cutscene chest. Or I will check everything else in Mire before checking the cutscene chest, is what I meant to say. There's the big key. So there's a 25% chance that it's in the cutscene chest, which at that point, those are odds I'm willing to accept. We're specifically referring to the treasure chest on the left side of Misery Mire where you have to light the torches. Okay. Okay, so that means that the cutscene chest is nothing. So that wound up being the right decision for a change. It's one of the worst locations in the game just because of what you have to do to check it. Oftentimes for just a small key or a dungeon item. And then when it has your ice rod, when it has your ice rod, there are many, many rage slashes. I will say that much. But it's referring to a specific treasure chest in Misery Mire. You idiot, you forgot to flip the switch back around. I apologize, I forgot to unplug our phone. How do I want to go about this? This is awkward. I'm gonna take this fight a little bit safe. Just because Vitreous is dangerous. I think I can only take one hit, too. There we go. Good enough for me. So I think that leaves Map or Compass in the cutscene chest. So now we'll do the big Dark World loop. Actually, no. We'll do Pot Eastern first. This also means that Pegasus Boots can't be a Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, I'm gonna do Pot Eastern first. I can also do Hype Cave, which is probably a good idea to get out of the way. If I don't get any arrows from the from Hype Cave, I think I'm actually going to do Eastern Palace first because strangely enough, I need arrows. And you need arrows early in Pod to deal with the Mimic Room. And because I don't have any, it'd be better just to clear Eastern first. Oh, nice. We got our arrows. So now I can go clear Pod. Lots of arrows. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do Swamp first. Just because I'm not gonna be in this area again. Now the question is, How much time do I put in left side, if any? If there's one item in left side of swamp, I think I leave it. I think that's the best strategy with Swamp Palace when you're one item from go. Is to check everything but left side and just see how many items are left. If there are two items on left side, I think you have to go back in. That's not good. That means there's going to be... Well, no, there could be a... Well, there's going to be one item behind, at least. So I really am hoping for a map not to show up. But if I see a map, then I just go to left side immediately. I might even just go to left side immediately anyway. Because it doesn't take quite as long with the diver down. I don't have a boomerang, so I wouldn't be able to do remote control boomerang, even if I knew how to do it. But with a combination of diver down and remote control boomerang, you can save a lot of time when you do your left side swamp checks. But even the diver down saves quite a bit of time. It's a little finicky, though. I've been struggling with that diver down recently. And if you grab this pot key, then you're committed to that diver down. I'm gonna pick that up. I have full magic already. Also in Zelda, knowing what's underneath pots is really important. Now you give me power bombs when I don't need them. Although I guess I did need another... I guess technically I did need another pack of power bombs for Go Mode as well. Either another pack of power bombs or Ice Beam. But yeah, at this point, now we're committed. Like, now we're committed to this diver down. But I think at this point it's overwhelmingly likely that there are two items in the left side of Swamp. Just because we've already seen one of the dungeon items. Wait, I have to get the key. I'm dumb. I have to get the key. Hold on. I don't know why I've been struggling with this one recently. Maybe my block is wrong. I don't know why this one has been giving me so much trouble recently. Oh, I have the block too far right. I'm sorry, everyone. This is not difficult. There we go. Oh my goodness. What is so difficult about that? I'm so sorry that took so long. Like, that's not actually a hard trick. It only saves time if you get it within, like, 2 or 3 tries. Yup. Yup! And, of course, there's nothing over here. But now now at least I'll have peace of mind that there's nothing, like, that there's nothing actually here. This also... Well, I guess the big key could be self-locking. Now, this diver down is a lot easier. I actually know a couple setups for this one. I'm gonna grab this magic. Yeah, the setup for this one is... I like the setup for this one. There's a couple different ways you can do this one. And, of course, I moved the block. Eaves. Okay. This room also looks really weird when you're in the diver down state. It actually extends the wall texture. Oh, there we go. Full go mode. I'll probably still check chests that are on the way for ammo. Because more ammo would be helpful. Silvers would be helpful, but I'm not gonna check stuff that's I'm not gonna check out of the way stuff. But stuff that's right in my way, I will absolutely check. Oh, and for those of you looking for Silverless Ganon, you might get your wish. Hey! Well, there is an item in the big chest, but we don't care. You know what? I should go grab that half magic that's on Lake Hylia on my way to Ice Palace. Unfortunately, this means I am going to need to make another trip through Lore Norfair. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make another trip through Lore Norfair to get to Desert. But we managed to stay out of Turtle Rock. There was a pretty good case to be made for going to Turtle Rock several times in the seed, and I'm glad I was able to avoid it. After I get out of Thieves Town, I might go grab that, I think I'm gonna go grab the, what is it? I'm gonna go grab the Wave Beam, too. Turtle Rock was open. Turtle Rock was available really early. Like, you could full clear Turtle Rock pretty early in the seed, and I was really thinking about going in there, but there was nothing there. Probably the best thing I could find right now there would be, like, silvers. Now, if you're gonna do Icebreaker when in Go mode, there are a couple things you have to do differently. I'm not sure if this is faster. It's definitely faster when you're full clearing. But if you're gonna do Icebreaker while in Go mode, you have to jump into this room and flip this crystal switch. If you don't do that, then you have to look for the big key. Right through. Simple stuff. But since I'm able to get that Wave Beam now I'm not concerned about ammo. The other half of doing Icebreaker when in Go mode is you have to grab this small key. It's specifically for that door. Because flipping those crystal switches so that blue is open, if you don't do that, then you have to look for the big key. That's what circumvents the big key in this dungeon. And there's Gold Stare. Blink and you miss it. This should wind up being a pretty good time. Yeah, I have to do it this way. I'm gonna go do Thieves Town now. I can find out real quick. Ganon's Tower plus Mother Brain is about 20 minutes. And I'll have a better estimate for you. I'll have a better estimate of when I'm finished once I get all these crystals done. But I have Go Mode Thieves Town, I have Go Mode Eastern Pod, and I have Desert. But I gotta get back to Desert through Metroid, which is annoying. And it also might depend on whether silvers turn up. Probably closer to 250, I would guess. Because I still have 4 crystals. Wait a minute. Okay. That was lucky. I forgot to check that chest for the big key. But now I don't have to actually check any chests anymore. I can just go straight to the bottom. Well, not straight to the bottom. I have to open the other thing first. But yeah, I'm guessing it'll be probably 250. There are a couple things, like GT big key placement, whether silver arrows come up. It's unlikely for me to find silvers. Ice Beam would also save quite a bit of time. But all that stuff is pretty unlikely to come up. Oh, Lamp was one of the first things we found. But I'm pretty positive that I would be pretty high up in the ranking for this if this were a race, just because of where Moon Pearl was. And I think Moon Pearl has really been the only, like, mega troll of this seed. I might actually stop at the potion shop after Palace of Darkness 2 to grab some potions. Because my health situation for endgame is not great. Why'd I open that chest? I mean, I guess there's still an argument to opening, like, chests that are right in your way to try to find silvers or something, but I don't need to actually search for items anymore. And generally speaking, you should feel pretty good if you're in Go mode at under 215. So that's Thieves done. So Waterway and Criteria Shaft not having anything was great. Alright, so now I'm gonna go grab that wave beam that's on the library. Alright, enough flute. So I'm going to do Eastern and Pod first. The reason why I'm doing these first is maybe I'll get a bailout flute. Otherwise, I gotta go through Norfair to get to Desert again, because my only way in there. I could also find a book too. Book would also get me access to Desert an easier way. But as soon as I find that big key, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna go straight to the boss as soon as I find the big key. Well, the big key and enough small keys to get down there. And the only place I'm gonna look that it could be in is here, because I don't have a reason to go to any of the other dungeons. Eastern is already cleared. I just have to beat the boss. That's actually where Morph Ball was in the vanilla big key chest in Easter Palace. Oh, you know what else I just realized? We avoided paying the con man. King Zora never got his money. Wait, why'd I switch to bow? I need mirror here anyway. For this check. Like, I want to have mirror equipped because I'm going to warp back to the beginning of the dungeon as soon as I check this one. So, the only real, I think, routing mistake I made was probably just Meyer. Because of having to go 3 times, but I still don't think the first time was a mistake. The second one probably was, though. It's just unfortunate that I'm gonna have to go through Metroid 3 times to get to Desert, of all things. I was trying to avoid this by clearing all of Meyer first, so then maybe I'd be able to get to Desert the front way. But that's not happening unless we find a book or a flute in here while searching for the big key. And both of those can very well be in Ganon's Tower as well. Okay, with that, I actually don't think I'm gonna get potions now. That's another thing I was hoping would turn up would be powder. This big key being hard to find, though. Come on, where's this big key at? But other than having to go through Super Metroid 3 times to get to the Meyer Desert area, I feel like I played pretty well. Nothing. But unfortunately, this big key is going to be very, very deep in Palace of Darkness. Oh, I need to equip bombs. Let's open that up in case the big key is in the maze, which it can be. Given the key situation, it probably is, too. Because one of these chests has to be a small key. One of these chests is going to be an item. Probably a dungeon item. Yep, so that's an item. Meaning this has to be a small key. And then the Harmless Hallway chest down here. This could be the big key. It is not, so it's in the maze. Yeah, it's just gonna make me full clear the dungeon anyway. So a lot of it was just dependent on big key luck. There it is. So, unfortunately, no, well, there could... It's possible, it could be on the boss. But we've only got one more shot at getting a bailout item. There are a lot of bailout items there. But now that we're through this part, I think the only bailout item that I would really want now, and Ice Beam too, but it's just Ice Beam and Silvers at this point. That would be on the nice-to-have list. Maybe Red Mail for the Ganon fight, but I don't need it. Red Mail is another one of those luxury items. Blue Mail I think is more important than Red Mail. Just because it makes you feel a lot safer in Dark World dungeons. Running around Ice Palace or Mire, or any of the late game Dark World dungeons without any armor upgrades is no fun. So it's looking like the Ganon fight is going to be Tempered Sword Silverless, which is what you would do in NMG anyway. It's actually roughly under NMG conditions. I think the only nice to have that I actually have for that fight is going to be Half Magic. I lost count. Okay, the mask was more than one hit away, so that wouldn't be great. Alright, so the pod's done. Can I get a book or a flute, please? Nope, just an E-Tank. That's fine, though. That's fine, though. More health for Mother Brain is nice, because that fight can escalate very quickly. And if I remember, the grapple beam that started all this nonsense was not in a very easy spot either. I want to say it was something like Criteria Powerbomb. You had access to it super early, but it wasn't ever super convenient. There won't be any items in here. The only thing I have to do here is the boss. Which, if I remember correctly, I believe the boss has the map. I don't know how that worked, but okay. Man, I let those Armos Knights get away from me. Alright, so just one crystal left. It's desert. I gotta get there through Metroid. But all I gotta do is go get the big key. Just get the big key on the torch and then go roast the land moles with the fire rod. And all because I have no flute. Because this was a fluteless seed. And it won't take me that long to get back there because I have a lot of nice movement, but still. I also have to kill Dragon too. I should have done that before I went into Ice Palace. I actually should have done that before coming here. It's not a huge deal, though. Wave Beam doesn't need to be activated, it's just Phaser and Plasma that you have to turn on if you find them in Zelda. Wonder where Screw Attack's at. I guess another thing that I could have potentially found would be something like X-ray scope. Because then I could microwave Dragon, but I have grapple beam, so that's not actually going to save that much time, even if I did find it. But it's very, very disappointing that I had to go through that entrance 3 times. It's bad enough to have to go that way twice, let alone 3 times. Wait a second. Why'd I even go in the portal? Need anything else? Actually, I think I'm gonna go kill Ganon first, before I kill Dragon. Three insta-dives, thanks. There we go. That's how that was supposed to look, but of course it gives me 3 insta-dives. Alright, so that is 7 crystals. Well, now that we have 7 crystals, it's time for everybody's favorite game. There are 22 chests in Ganon's tower. One of them will contain the big key. Put your guesses in. The big key guessing game will close as soon as Ganon's tower has been entered. So get your guesses in chat. I'm gonna say 3. That Turtle Rock entrance can stay closed. So the reason why I'm doing Dragon Blast is because I can run back to... after Ganon, I can just run over to the portal between between Southeast Dark World and Meridia, go kill Dragon, and then transition and reset to my ship. Alright, guess is closed. One is a small key. 2 is power bombs. Three is a small key. So we're coming up to Stalfos Room, which will have 4 more chests. Four is the penny. 5 is a small key. 6 is money. 7 is money. Also, I just noticed the stun prize is full magic. I'll need to keep that in mind. Alright, Fire Snake Chest, I think I'm actually going to pass on. 8 is the red boomerang. Nine is a missile pack. Now we're coming up to the randomizer room, which will have 4 more chests. Don't forget that if you're in an NMG race and you need arrows, you can get arrows in this room. I've had to do this in a race before. 10 is missiles, 11 is the map. 12 is art piece, 13 is the compass. Well, either way, those are the two ways to get across that warp tile without actually taking it. Is either damage boost over it or bonk over it. Alright, coming up on Bob's chest, which is 14, and it has a missile pack. Oh. This might take a while, because I don't have very many arrows. Alright, I'll finish off the last one with arrows. Because when the last Armos Knight turns red, its individual health refreshes. 15 is a small key, 16 is a missile, 17 is the big key, so French vanilla. Up we go. So if you took the Dark Magician route in the seed, you were the big winner. This is awkward. That's okay, though. I don't have to go back very far. I am going to have to go outside and dig for arrows, though. So the Dark Magician route, which is one, it's named after a randomizer player, Dark Magician 1184. It's where you go straight right. Come on, I need arrows, please. Here we go. That's something that can happen in Ganon's Tower, especially if you don't have silvers. Is if you get killed, you might have to go outside and dig for arrows. But I am going to go ahead and catch this one, so that that doesn't happen again. I was deathless up until that point, too. Well, I haven't fought any of the bosses yet, but all the mimics will respawn, yes. So that room there, that is the reason why the bow is required in 100% of scenes, are those two rooms. I mean, technically you can, like, mimic clip them out of existence, but as far as the logic goes, those two rooms with the red mimics are the reason why you need the bow in 100% of seeds. Alright, time for Gauntlet. I am gonna grab that magic pot, though. I should do. I should take advantage of my stun prize. The stun prize was really nice. It was full magic. So this means I should be able to get redemption for what happened in Desert Palace. I have a fairy. I'll be fine. Because if you powder that bunny beam, nope. If you powder that bunny beam, it offsets the landmola spawn, so you can't one-cycle them. Coming up are some of my favorite rooms in the game. Like, that red cane is so handy. For these two rooms especially. That one didn't go nearly as well as I wanted it to. But if you can get that room in one use of the Cane of Samaria, it's so satisfying. And then if I grab that pot, I shouldn't need to refill magic here. That's one of the biggest reasons I grabbed half magic was for Ganon's Tower. Because if you have half magic, there are a lot of full magics that you can skip. And then up here is where you can refill your health. There's also a full magic drop up here. I saw an arrow and got excited, and I was like, aw, it's not silvers. Because the only things that I would want to see in Bullhorn Chest are silvers or Ice Beam at this point. I don't think anything else can actually help me. Nope, just missiles. So this is all the help we're gonna get. Alright, time for agonometry. That one. That was a better pattern. Alright. So, those of you in chat that wanted to see Silverless Ganon, you're gonna get it. Good question. Alright, Silverless Ganon. Oh, I almost hugged him, too. Oh, get in there. Get in there. God Corner! God Corner's so good. So have any of you seen races where somebody has to do torch glitch with fire rods? Oh, of course they're in GT. They must be, like, right side or something. Yeah. So we need 12 spins with tempered. It's 2... 3. You have to relight every 2 attacks. Having half magic can also make Silverless Ganon a lot less stressful. Eight. 9. Get out of that corner, please. That's a miss. 10. 11. And 12. So that's 1 down. Get your G's in chat. Okay, so if you're wondering how I know the silvers are in Ganon's tower, when you get to his 4th phase, Ganon will give you a hint as to where they are. Yeah, he'll just straight up tell you where the silver arrows are. Not the specific chest, but the area that they are in. It's kind of like how Ganon tells you where the light arrows... It's kind of how Ganondorf tells you where the light arrows are in Ocarina of Time if you go all the way up his tower. But now I need to go kill Dragon. So now at this point, since we have Link to the Past beat, the only thing that I would have... Okay, this should still be a sub 3, but barely. And considering where Moon Pearl was, I think a sub 3 is a fantastic time on the seed. You know the number of people that would last location Moon Pearl? Where it was? Like, that Moon Pearl location was ridiculous. Yeah, we have 6 E-tanks for Mother Brain, we should be fine. Well, 6 in a reserve, too. So this should be absolutely fine. Alright, Dragon, please grab me. I would like to fry the shrimp. I just missed the quick kill. Wow, that's very surprising. She did not spank me once. Usually she just wants to sit there and spank me 5 or 6 times before flying up to where I can kill her with the grapple beam. So now we'll just transition and then go to the end of the game. Whoops. Also, one thing I failed to mention earlier in the seed is whenever you transition, it sets your reset point for Super Metroid at your ship. So if you transition and then do a if you transition and then do a save and quit, or actually just doing a save and quit out of Link to the Past in general and then reset. I am gonna take a refill here though. Mostly for ammo for MB1. Because the ammo's not going to help me with Metroids because I don't have Ice Beam. Unfortunately. Like, Ice Beam just decided to never show up. But it's not a big deal, we have 30 power bombs. And we have Charge Wave Plasma, which is going to kill Mother Brain in 24 shots. So what you have to do if you don't have Ice Beam is you want to let all of the Metroids grab you, and then just drop power bombs on them until they die. Or at the very least, make sure they're all on the screen. But most likely what's going to happen is they're just going to grab you. If you're on very low E-tanks, you do need to watch your health with these Metroids, though. So normally I would go down to that lower level because I can get to the door more quickly. But given the health situation, I felt more comfortable going at it from that second level. I'm gonna discharge reserves here too. So that way I can Crystal Flash after the baby grabs me. It's faster than refilling at the refill station. Also, it's very, very important that you face right after getting grabbed, because it saves 40 frames. And there's your classic Mega Man. I love the Crystal Flash sprite for the X sprite. It's so good. And that way we can skip a lengthy refill as well as a couple door transitions. And unfortunately, because we don't have Ice Beam, we're gonna have to do Zeb Skip Skip. And by Zeb Skip Skip, I mean actually destroying the Zeptites. And we're on to Mother Brain. So it'll be 24 shots with Charge Wave Plasma, but I am going to use the rest of my Super Missiles later in the fight. I need to be really careful here because of the Catch-It Beam, but we're fine now. And that is Mother Brain 2 all done. You have a good point, Trails. Why isn't this Dr. Wily instead of Mother Brain? I guess you could like redo the Mother Brain sprite possibly to just rig some contraption that Wily sits in. Alright. It seems like this is gonna be a sub 3 barely. Oh, before anybody asks, the animals are dying. So now 36 shots of Hyper Beam for Mother Brain 3. Ah, she got an attack off. If you do the fight optimally, Mother Brain 3 will never actually get a single attack off. No Trails, they're dying. Save the... What part of save the frames? I don't even have to worry about turning Screw off for this room. Oops. Oh yeah, the Mega Man X sprite is so good. Having Screw Attack on for some stuff gets in the way. It specifically gets in the way of Zipskit. But yeah, we are coming up on time. Time is going to be on the ship. And time. Pretty happy with that overall, especially considering where Moon Pearl is. Like, Moon Pearl is in an absolutely ridiculous spot. But I think that was the only real mega troll. What saved the sub 3 was deciding to go to Swamp Palace before going to Pod Eastern. You're not gonna believe this when I tell you, Trails. The Moon Pearl was at Shack Tool. It was checked in about a half hour. I really hope somebody clipped the reaction to that, because that was great. And suddenly, Star Fox. The Star Fox ending theme has been the crossover randomizer credit since version 10. I was a little bit disappointed that it didn't get changed with the new version. Yeah, you got basically full loadout for Super Metroid other than Ice or Speed really early. And actually the Speed Booster was super early too. Pretty much once you found Morph Ball, which was in Eastern Palace, if you did the whole Bryn Loop, including Kraid, you found everything that you needed. Most of the seed was just hunting for most of the seed was hunting for Pegasus Boots for Desert. Probably the most feel-bad part of the way I routed the seed was having to go through Metroid to get to the Myra Desert area 3 times. I did it one time to get intel on the Myra Medallion, as well as the dungeon intel for Dark World. I went there to get intel on a second time to get intel on whether the Pegasus Boots were required for Desert. And then I went back there a third time to actually clear Desert. That's a lot of 3s. That's probably the best. My favorite Super Metroid stat is time aligning doors. Oh, the other big pain with this seed was having almost no power bombs. There were only 2 packs of power bombs available for a really long time. But to get sub 3 on a fluteless seed is great. Dang, and I was deathless until that Ganon's Tower Duff. Alright, so that'll be a wrap for me. I don't actually have any other runs for the Randomania Superweek. But we do have a lot of great runs coming up tonight and all week. The next run is going to be the Final Fantasy randomizer for the NES. And that is actually a race between Demarine and Silverfire. They're both fantastic runners. They've been around since almost the beginning. And it's great. If you want a great show of a tough-as-nails NES game, stay tuned for this next race. This has been Riker Rider with Super Metroid and A Link to the Past combination randomizer. Thank you so much for showing up. Have a great night, stay safe, and social distance.